Hi everyone, welcome to our live watch along. And today it's the Tasmanian Devils versus the Brisbane Lions. The Devils are at the Brighton Homes Arena today in Brisbane. And today's game, believe it or not, is fourth versus last. That's hard to believe. The Devils are fourth and the Lions, they're last. It is hard to believe that an AFL team such as the mighty Brisbane Lions are struggling so much in the VFL this year. I mean, they do have a long injury list, which obviously doesn't help. And the Devils, well, the Devils are on a roll. The Devils have won 3 in a row and they're going for the 4th in a row today. So let's have a look at the ladder. This is the top 10. And the Devils are 4th on 30 points, same as Werribee. And a win today puts the Devils on 34. Werribee play Carlton, and that's probably no certainty. And Box Hill, they play GWS. That's not very easy either. So it is possible that the Devils, by the end of this round, could go to second or third if they can beat Brisbane today. Let's hope we can. It'll be another notch in the belt of the Devils, knocking off another AFL aligned team. Okay, so let's have a look at the team news for today. Here's how I think they might actually line up. And there's only one change. Sam Siggins is back. And Kai Cameron has made way for him with illness, apparently. So let's run through the lineup. Geordie Payne in the back pocket. I think it's been a revelation, him actually going into the back line. He's been absolutely sensational in the back line there so far since he's gone there. Chaplin and Archie Wilkinson. The halfbacks, Harry Bales, Nick Williams, Oscar Paprotny. On the wing, Zach Adams, Jai Menzie and Jack Callanan. And the half forwards, Lockie Hay, Hugh Dixon and Baxter Norton. In the full forward line, we've got Brandon Leary, Sam Siggins and Jed Hagan. And on the ball, we've got Cam Owen in the ruck and Caleb Mitchell and Harry Elmer. The interchange, I think Iverack, Splan, Bogue, Bickoff Smart and Rory Wright. So the Socceroos are also playing against Paraguay this afternoon, which starts around 12 noon, which is probably halfway through the second quarter of our Devils game. So we'll keep an eye on the soccer score as well and go the Socceroos. If you can, it'd be awfully appreciated if you can hit that subscribe button. We're trying to grow this channel. I think we have 80-something subscribers last time I looked. Getting up to 100 will be a huge milestone for this small channel. So I'd be very grateful if you could help me out with that. And feel free to put any comments in the live chat. I mean, there's so much to talk about. I mean, with the Devils, there's the coaching position. Is it Buckley? Is it Hinkley? Longmire? What about Chris Scott? Who should it be? I'd like to know your opinion. Then there's the Hawthorn saga. Hawks were told to leave Launceston. Good thing or a bad thing? Right, I think we're getting ready for a start here at Brighton Homes Arena. And they're underway. Oh, crunching tackle in the centre of the ground there. Brisbane win the clearance. They go forward. I think we are going to see this a lot from Brisbane today, them chipping the ball around. That's how their AFL team plays. So I'm assuming the VFL guys will play the same way. And Brisbane have a mark at centre half forward. Looks like an overcast day there in Brisbane. I did see there was some slight chance of rain later in the day. Let's hope it doesn't come. So the Lions are having a shot here, probably from just inside 50, straight in front, and they've kicked it. So the Brisbane Lions open the scoring with a goal. If you watched the game last week, the Devils had a bit of a slow start last week, so hopefully they've rectified that for this week. Gee, the surface on that oval looks good. So the ball's back in the centre here. Cam Owen in the ruck. And a free kick going Brisbane's way. Brisbane go deep inside 50. Oh, what a scrubby old kick, but it's landed on the chest of a Brisbane player about 30 metres out from goal, directly in front. That's the luck you get when you play in front, I guess. Well, there's a chance here the Devils go 2 goals behind. He's kicked a goal and he's offline. So the Devils get a bit of a break there. Devils come out from full back. Short pass out to the 50-metre arc. That's Callanan, I think. He goes to Harry Elmer. Devils try to switch the ball, or dangerous kick across goal there. Now they switched it out to the far side of the ground, and they're off. It's a great kick. Devils are on the wing with the ball. Another chip up to the wing, and a nice mark there by the Devils. Clanger of a handball. Fumble there by Geordie Payne. And there's going to be a ball up on the centre wing. Brisbane have brought the pressure so far, and they switch the ball into the centre of the ground. Another chip forward, a loose man for Brisbane. He plays on. He goes inside 50, but a nice interception there by Joe Chaplin. So the Devils are coming long up to centre wing, and a nice mark there by Hugh Dixon on his chest. Now, the umpire hasn't paid it. Why didn't he pay that? It must have been touched. Ball still on centre wing. Bit of a scramble. Umpire's baiting, holding the ball against Brisbane. The Devils were lucky there. They tried to take the advantage and lost it, but the umpires brought it back. So the Devils are going to go into the centre. That's a dangerous kick into the centre of the ground. It was 1-on-3 there. And Brisbane come away with the ball. But another lovely intercepting mark by Joe Chaplin, centre half back. He goes wide to the wing to Callanan. He chips forward. It's like Jed Hagan on the wing. Devils are going to go inside 50 here. Callanan again, he always uses the ball so well, just Jack Callanan, and I think he's found Zach Adams there. So we're going to see a shot at goal here by the Devils from probably 45 metres out on a pretty tight angle. Having a shot at goal. He missed to the near side. So the Devils bring up their first score for the game. 1-1-7 Brisbane to 1 behind for the Devils. Oh, intercepted mark there by Jai Menzies. Too far out to score. He chips inside 50. Big spoil there, and it's over the boundary line and out of bounds. So for anybody in the chat there, let me know if you think the Devils are going to get up today and make it 4 in a row. Because if we do, we could go to second or third on the ladder. Who would have thought that at the start of this inaugural season by the Devils? It's a lasso free kick to Brisbane. So Brisbane go down to centre wing. A lovely mark there by Zach Adams. He brings it into the middle. Harry Bales. He goes across to Wilkinson. Handballs off to Lockie Hay. Lockie Hay goes forward. Intercepted by Brisbane. The Devils are making a few mistakes. They're being very aggressive in their kicking. It's a mark on centre wing to Brisbane. They play on. They go inside 50 and a diving mark to Brisbane's been paid. He's right against the boundary line, probably 50 metres around from goal. Difficult shot from there, you would imagine. Goes into the goal square and it's rushed through for a behind to Brisbane. So Brisbane 1 goal to 8. The Devils 1 behind. The Devils bring the ball up the centre wing. Looks like it might be out of bounds on the full. Yep. Free kick to Brisbane. Brisbane go inside 50. Oh, a huge fly there from Brisbane and off hands. They've snapped and goal. No, it was touched. Umpire says it was touched. Well, that's a bit of a let off for the Devils. So 1 goal, 3-9 to 1 behind. The Devils come out of defence onto centre wing, over the boundary line and out of bounds. Once again, it does look like a beautiful oval there, this Brighton Homes Arena. Playing surface looks immaculate. Bit of a scramble on the half-forward flank for Brisbane. Devils have the ball. Oh, that's a great handball by Caleb Mitchell. Puts it in front of Brandon Leary. He goes forward. Over the back. Can we get a mark? No. I thought Hugh Dixon would have marked that. In the Devils, forward 50. Hugh Dixon handballs off to Harry Elmer. There's a flying shot at goal. That's a great snap by Harry Elmer. He's dobbed it. First goal to the Devils, and it was a great goal by Harry Elmer. A snap on his right foot. One goal, 3-9 Brisbane to 1-1-7 the Devils. Devils have been slow starters last couple of weeks. Free kick to Brisbane, advantage. Oh, that's too easy. Over the back in the goal square, off the ground, goal to Brisbane. Well, that's what happens when you get a free kick in the centre of the ground, an unexpected advantage, and the 6-6-6 rule, which means the forward line is just totally open. Very hard to defend that. So Brisbane, 2 goals, 3-15 to Devils, 1-1-7. Let's see if the Devils can get their game going. Hugh Dixon's having a run in the ruck this time. Bailey Bogue's in the middle. And Caleb Mitchell's in the middle. Jai Menzies in there too. And Hugh Dixon gets the ball away to Menzies, goes inside 50 for the Devils. Oh, almost a mark, not quite. Play on. Big tackle there by Beekoff Smart inside 50 for the Devils. Got a ball up about 40 metres out from Devils' goal. Sam Siggins snaps. Lands short. And Brisbane are going to take it away. Brisbane have the ball on the halfback flank. They switch the play back across goal. Now they're going back the other way, and it was half smothered. I think that's Jed Hagan. That's great forward pressure by Jed Hagan. And umpire's paid a free kick here to Brisbane on the edge of the goal square in the full-back line. The Brisbane chipping the way out. They get the ball out to centre half-back. Another loose man by Brisbane in the middle. He fumbles. Great tackle. Oh, that's nearly holding the ball, but play on. Out to centre wing. Brisbane go forward and fumbled over the boundary line for a throw-in on centre wing. I see Harry Bales back on the ground after a spell on the bench. The throw-in on centre wing. Bailey Bogue wins it to Caleb Mitchell. He's going to go to the top of the 50-metre arc. Hagan off hands. He chips it forward, but there's nobody there. It's all Brisbane. Brisbane come out, chip to centre half back. This is what they do, Brisbane, chipping the ball around. Now they've played on. through the middle into the 50 and a mark. A mark to Brisbane inside forward 50. They're probably going to have this shot from just inside the 50-metre arc, pretty much straight in front. Two, 3, 15 Brisbane, 117 Devils. Brisbane goes for goal, and I think he's kicked it. He has. Brisbane's third goal. 3-3-21 Brisbane, 117 to the Devils. Brisbane are actually moving the ball extremely well out of the back line. They're chipping the ball around, which is exactly how they play in the AFL. The AFL team does exactly the same thing. So Devils are going to have to man up when they don't have the ball, obviously. So Hugh Dixon's in the ruck again this time. In the middle. Zach Adams on a wing. Hugh Dixon gets the tap down. Ball comes out on the far wing. Hugh Dixon, another possession. He's had a few touch. Oh, that's a great evasive skills by Hugh Dixon. He goes inside 50. Scramble. Oh, that's a throw. Surely, umpire. No, he didn't pay the throw. And Brisbane take a mark right in the centre circle. It's all open here. This doesn't look good. They go inside 50. Off hands. Brisbane get the ball. And another goal. Wow. The Devils are very, very open when Brisbane go forward. 4-3-27 Brisbane, 117 the Devils. Brisbane are moving the ball very, very well. And the Devils, well, they just can't seem to stop that ball movement of Brisbane. Another free kick to Brisbane in the middle. Brisbane go inside 50 again. Big spoil over the back, all Brisbane. They run onto it. Another snap and he's missed. That's a let off there for the Devils. It's all Brisbane. All Brisbane. 4-4-28, 117. Beekoff Smart has the ball on the half-back flank for the Devils. He goes to centre wing. A big spoil by Brisbane over the boundary line and out of bounds. I'm looking to see if I can see any Devil supporters in the crowd there, if there are any Tassie Guernseys, any maps. Haven't seen one yet. Brisbane go inside 50. Devils get the ball. Plenty of fumbling going on in there. Over the boundary line and out of bounds for a throw-in. So to throw in inside Brisbane's 50-metre arc, about 30 metres around from the Brisbane goal. Camoan in the ruck, straight to Brisbane. They have a snap inside 50 and intercepting mark there by the Devils. Devils keep possession. They bring the ball out to the halfback flank. Harry Bales has marked the ball. half-back flank. He goes into the centre. Dangerous kick. That's a 1-on-3. That's a very dangerous kick. Brisbane go into the centre circle. They go long inside 50 to Brisbane. And it's a mark, is it? A mark to Brisbane. He's paid the mark to Brisbane. 25 metres out from goal. Well, what I've noticed so far is the Devils are paying the price for being extremely aggressive with their kicking and trying to go from outside back into the corridor. And Brisbane are just picking it off. But Brisbane are shooting a goal here from 25 to 30 metres out. Shoots a goal. And he's kicked it. So Brisbane on a bit of a roll. 5-4-34 Brisbane, 1-1-7 the Devils. 27 points down. Once again, not a good start by the Devils. They were very slow out of the blocks last week. And same thing is happening this week. Every time Brisbane get the ball, they have men out open everywhere. Cam Owen in the ruck. Brisbane are going to win the clearance. They go forward again. Oh, that's too easy. Just a bit of body work there by the Brisbane forward. And they take an easy mark inside 50, about 30 metres out from goal. So this is not a great start. It's not looking good for the Devils. I thought they'd be playing much better than this. But Brisbane have kicked another goal. Brisbane, 6-4-40. Tassie, 1-1-7. They need to lift to the Devils. We've just gone about 22 and a half minutes in the first quarter. First off, the Devils are getting beaten in centre clearances. And then second off, every time Brisbane get the ball, everyone's wide open. Cam Owen wins the tap. Think the Devils are going to win this clearance? No. Brisbane come away with the ball. Scramble. Sam Siggins is up the ground. He's on the ball by the look of it. Is Sam Siggins? Yeah, he's going to take. I know Owen's still there in the ruck. Bit of a scramble on the wing. Another ball up. So if you're in the chat, let me know what you think of this start by the Devils. I didn't expect this. Brisbane inside 50. And the Devils come away with it to centre wing, over the boundary line and out of bounds for a throw-in. Well, the Devils, they certainly need the next goal, and they probably need the next couple of goals. Certainly before quarter time, it would be handy. Cam Owen in the ruck. Brisbane win the clearance again. They come away with the ball. They go inside 50. The Devils mop it up. Aaron's handball. My geez. Oh, that's a bit of rough play against the Devils. Is that a free kick to the Devils? No, it's going to be a throw-in right beside the behind post in Brisbane's forward line. This is a dangerous spot for a throw-in for the Devils. snap at goal, half smothered. Archie Wilkinson has the ball. He gives it to Williams. He gives it off to Paprotny. Comes out. Devils get the ball up the centre wing. That's a nice kick. And that's a nice mark by Brandon Leary. Now, this is where you have to use the ball. Don't give the ball away here. He goes long down the line. And it's thumped out of bounds by Brisbane. There's going to be a throw in here on the half-forward flank for the Devils. I just need to slow the game down for a minute or two, I think, the Devils. Just get back in the game. Devils go forward inside 50, intercepting mark taken by Brisbane. And they chip it around. Another mark by Brisbane, half-back flank. Now they go in the centre of the ground, and this time the Devils have the numbers. Oh, gee, they're fumbling the ball, making a lot of mistakes. So many turnovers by the Devils. This is probably the worst start I've seen the Devils have. They go inside 50. It's 2-on-1 against the Devils. Brisbane switching play. They come to the half-back flank. They have 3-man on centre wing. They have a mark on centre wing to Brisbane. They're going to go inside 50. And a nice mark there by Archie Wilkinson. Gives it to Caleb Mitchell on the half-back flank. Caleb Mitchell switches play. Wilkinson, I think. Out to Paprotny. And the Devils have worked their way up to centre wing. Rory Wright handballs off to Geordie Payne. Ball is touched. Another bad handball by the Devils, but he gets it back again. Intercepting mark by Brisbane, and they will be open here. Look at Brisbane's spread. You can see how they spread from centre half back. 2-on-1 here, the Devils. Interception mark by Archie Wilkinson. He goes back, way back inside 50. And the Devils have the ball. Caleb Mitchell, Rory Wright, Bailey Bogue, handballs off. Geordie Payne goes inside 50, finds Hugh Dixon. No, it's Cam Owen. Cam Owen's marked about 40 metres out from goal on a 45-metre angle. But he's probably going to kick from just inside 50. So it's going to need a good kick from here to kick this goal. We need this one, do the Devils. Cam Owen shoots a goal and he's pulled it right across the face of goal. Not going to make the distance, and it's spoiled through by Brisbane for another behind to the Devils. 6-4-40, 1-2-8. Must be getting close to the quarter-time siren. It's a mark on centre wing to Brisbane. Brisbane go down the wing, and that's quarter time. Wow. That's probably the worst quarter I've seen the Devils play for a long time. Maybe since the last quarter of that game against Southport a few weeks ago. They just can't get their hands on the ball, and when they do, they turn it over. And every time Brisbane are getting the ball, they are using the ball extremely well, and they spread and they find players out in the open. So let's have a look at the stats. These are the quarter time stats. For the Devils, Majority Paynes had 7 disposals and Lockie Hayes had 7. Bailey Bogues had 6. And Nick Williams and Archie Wilkinson have had 5, as has Caleb Mitchell and Jed Hagan and Zach Adams. The goal kickers, well, it was only one goal kicker for the Devils, and that was Harry Elmer with a lovely goal. How are we going in the hit-outs? Hit-outs are even, which is good, because the Devils haven't done all that well in hit-outs so far this year. So that's good from Cam Owen. You can see there that Brisbane have 3 of the top 4 highest rated players on the ground. Not a great start there by the Devils. I mean, really. That surprises me. Honestly, I thought that with Brisbane being last on the ladder, having only won 1 game for the year and having lost their last 7 games, that the Devils would have turned up and they would have been too strong for Brisbane. But wow, Brisbane have played extremely well. Let's give credit where credit's due. They have played extremely well. Every time they get the ball, they are spreading from the back line and they chip the ball around and find their men. And then when Brisbane go inside 50, their forward line is open. On the other hand, the Devils, when the Devils get the ball, they are trying to handball all the time. And if they are trying to pass the ball, they've been trying to take on extremely risky kicks back into the centre of the ground, which has been intercepted by Brisbane. And as soon as Brisbane intercept those balls, they just go straight forward and they find unmarked players. So we need to see a change here by the Devils. Otherwise, it's not going to be good. So we're 32 points down at quarter time. And this is the Devils, well, it's certainly the Devils' largest quarter time deficit this year. In most games, we've been in front at quarter time. I can't actually think off the top of my head of a game where the Devils have not been in front at quarter time. Maybe the Carlton game. Maybe they weren't in front against Carlton. And maybe the Werribee game. So it's a very overcast looking day there in Brisbane. And it doesn't appear to be any wind. So we can't use the excuse that Brisbane were kicking with a howling gale to left of screen. It doesn't actually look like that. Looks like a calm day. Just that the Devils have been totally outplayed. So if you're in the chat, let me know your take on that first quarter. I see the players are breaking up their huddles, going back to their positions to restart play in the second quarter. So So let's see now if the Devils have a bit more luck in the second quarter, if they can actually get their game together. Because so far, they haven't. So far, it's been ordinary for the Devils. Here we go in the second quarter. And the Devils, they get a clearance. No. Another missed handball. How many mistakes have the Devils made? But they go forward inside 50 with a scrambled kick. Free kick to Brisbane. Devils are just butchering the ball every time. $50 metres. 50-metre penalty to Brisbane. That's going to bring them right up to the centre of the ground. And they find a loose player out on the wing. There's 3 of them on the wing, all loose. They go inside 50, over the boundary line and out of bounds for a throw-in. Well, Brisbane are just cutting up the Devils here. There's a throw-in in the forward pocket for Brisbane. Brisbane have a snap at goal. Is a goal square scramble. Just get the ball through, fellas. Oh, goodness, man. That's what happens when you don't knock it through. There's a goal to Brisbane. That's not the start the Devils wanted. Geez, they look off. They just look totally off their game. Totally off their game today. And it's raining. And it looks like a lot of rain. Well, that's not going to make it easy for the Devils with rain and being already 38 points behind at the 2-minute mark of the second quarter. We finally get the ball out of the centre. Scramble forward, but Brisbane are going to rebound through the middle, unmarked, easy for Brisbane. Oh, but it's smothered by Nick Williams, I think it was. Devils go forward. It's going to be out of bounds on the half-forward flank for the Devils, just inside the 50-metre arc. 7-4-46 Brisbane, 1-2-8 the Devils. Hard to believe this scoreline. Going to be a ball up here inside the 50-metre arc for the Devils. These wet conditions are going to make it very difficult now. Brisbane Risky kick by Brisbane back in the centre, intercepted by Bickoff Smart. He goes forward and he finds Sam Siggins. Sam Siggins has a mark right against the boundary line, about 35 metres out from goal. Looks like he's going to snap this. It's a long way to be snapping the ball, a wet ball. He plays on, goes for the snap, and just to the near side. Another behind to the Devils. $7-4-46 to 139. The Devils have turned the ball over. Close to goal. It's a scramble. Snap at goal by the Devils. Across the face of goal. Another behind to the Devils. 36 points the difference. Not what we wanted as the Devil supporter. Brisbane bring the ball out to centre wing. Bit of a scramble. That's good tackling by the Devils. That's good pressure by the Devils. Oh, how's that? He's paid a trip, I think, to Brisbane at centre half back. And they switch the ball. They go right across to the other half back flank. This is what they do, Brisbane. And they just find players. Their skills are very good. The run and spread of Brisbane is so good, and it's really hurting the Devils. And on top of that, all the mistakes that the Devils are making adds up to what the scoreline is. The ball's on the half-forward flank for Brisbane. They go to the top of the goal square. Big spoil there from Geordie Payne, gets the ball over the boundary line and out of bounds for a throw-in. Going to be a throw-in about 25 to 30 metres around from the Brisbane goal. Cam Owen in the ruck. And the Devils get the ball out, but Harry Bales handballs in front of Leary. He can't take possession. Bickoff Smart gets it out. It's on centre wing and it's going to be a boundary throw-in. Boundary throw-in on centre wing. Still raining. $36 points down the Devils. Brisbane go inside 50 again. A big spoil from Geordie Payne. Bickoff Smart grabs the ball, goes to the forward 50, puts it out in front of Will Splan. He fumbles. Eventually swings it around and it's a great mark inside forward 50 to the Devils. Is that Jai Menzies? Great mark on his chest to Jai Menzies in the middle of a pack there. He's going to have a shot at goal. He's probably going to kick from about 45 metres out on probably a 45-degree angle. Jai Menzies, he shanked it. Not going to make the distance. Scramble in the goal square. Kick off the ground is smothered. Iverack has the ball off to Leary. A shot at goal and he's missed. In fact, it was touched. He's missed everything, but it was touched over the line. Out of bounds for a throw-in. Right beside the behind post for the Devils. Ball comes back to the top of the goal square after the throw in. There's a bit of a scramble, high tackle to Brisbane. They take the advantage. Ball's on centre wing for Brisbane, off the ground, and a mark in defence to Wilkinson. What's Wilkinson going to do here? He's going to go down the line, long down the line, to the half-forward flank. A lot of players there at half-forward flank. Elmer gives it to Callanan. He goes inside 50. And another mark. Was that a push-out? No, not a push. Another mark on the chest to Jaimenzi. Brisbane were claiming a push-out there, but the umpires paid the mark. He's about 45 metres out, 40 metres out, close to boundary line. He's going to play on and snap. Has it got the distance? I think it has. That's a great goal to Jaimenzi. My God, the Devils needed that. Only the Devils' second goal. 7-4-46 the Devils. Sorry, 7-4-46 Brisbane to 2-4-16 the Devils. I wish it was 7-4-46 the Devils. But so the Devils only bring up their second goal at the 10-minute mark of the second quarter to reduce the margin back to 30 points. Cam Owen in the ruck. I see Brandon Leary's gone into the middle as well. Brisbane win the hit-outs. Looks like we're going to get another secondary ball up here. No, he's paid holding the ball against the Devils. That's unbelievable. How's that holding the ball? Brisbane go inside 50. Paprotny off hands. Handball misses the target. High tackle by the Devils. They can't do anything right, the Devils. That's a good tackle by Paprotny on the 50-metre arc. Going to have a ball up on the 50-metre arc in Brisbane's forward line. Paprotny gets the ball out to centre wing with a long kick, but Brisbane take possession and they chip it. They find players. They're all out. Look in the middle here. They come back to centre half forward, but the Devils intercept. The Devils scramble the ball forward to centre half forward, over Siggins' head. And Bekoff Smart on his left has a snap and he misses. Another behind to the Devils. 29 points the difference. 12-minute mark of the second quarter. The Brisbane play on from fullback. They bring the ball all the way to centre wing. Almost a mark there. Nick Williams goes inside 50, but straight back to Brisbane. Brisbane have the mark in the back pocket on the boundary line. They go for a short kick. Is that 15? Yeah, he's paid the mark to Brisbane. Brisbane, they go long down the line to centre wing, over the back of the pack. Scramble. Ball goes inside 50 for the Devils. That's a mark. Is that a mark to that Will Splan, I think? Hard to see in the rain. He's going to have a shot from the man on the mark's probably 40 metres from goal. So he's probably going to kick from 45 metres from goal. Not much of an angle. Still raining in Brisbane. He's going to kick from the 50-metre arc, actually. Goes a goal, and he's kicked it. Great goal. Great goal there from Will Splan. He's a good kicker of goal. He was very accurate last week, and he's kicking for goal as well. So the Devils starting to claw their way back on the scoreboard. 7-4-46 Brisbane, 3-5-23 the Devils. See Bailey Bogues in the middle, John Menzies in the middle, Hugh Dixon's in the ruck. Hugh Dixon goes up, but Brisbane win the tap and they go forward. Brisbane go forward to the half-forward flank. It's going to be a ball up on the half-forward flank, very close to the boundary line, just on Brisbane's 50-metre arc. Hugh Dixon did the ruck work there. That's a great smother by Caleb Mitchell. He gets the ball over the boundary line and out of bounds for a throw-in on the 50-metre arc for Brisbane. The scramble, Brisbane come away to centre half forward with the ball. They've gone backwards, Brisbane, but now they go inside 50. Surely that's a free kick. Yeah, that's a free kick to Devils for an unrealistic marking attempt against Paprotny. So Paprotny has the ball in the back line for the Devils. He goes long down the line to centre wing. And Brisbane have spoiled it over the line and out of bounds for a throw-in on centre wing. Seven, 4-46, 3-5-23. 23 points of difference in favour of Brisbane. Boundary throw-in on centre wing. Hugh Dixon, he does the ruck work, but we're going to get another ball up on centre wing. Brisbane take possession, well tackled by the Devils. Another ball up on centre wing. Brisbane take possession. They win the clearance. Big spoil there from Geordie Payne, I think it was, by the Devils. But straight to Brisbane. They come through the centre of the ground. They come out to the other side of the ground on the wing. They go back towards 50 and they take a mark, probably 55 metres out from goal to Brisbane. So he goes long inside 50, the top of the goal square, over the back of the pack, a snap and a goal by Brisbane. How many times have Brisbane done that? Just in the goal mouth. They just seem to be so much more switched on and aware than what the Devils are. Well, the Devils didn't need that. 8-4-52 Brisbane, 3-5-23 the Devils. You just have to spoil. You just have to get that ball through. You can't allow that ball to fall over the back of the pack in the goal square. Just some of the basic things I've noticed. The Devils today, they just seem off. Cam Owen in the ruck. He wins the tap this time, does Cam Owen? Surely that's holding the ball, no? Devils, he ducked his head. Brisbane get a free kick advantage. They go inside 50. Oh, gosh. Almost a mark to Brisbane. Scramble. It's going to be a ball up. No, he's paid a push in the back to Tasmania. Push in the back. Harry Bales. He plays on. He goes out to centre wing. It's 2-on-1. And that 2 win. Brisbane takes the mark. Just poor decisions everywhere. Why go to a 2-on-1 down the line if you're outnumbered? Brisbane go inside 50, long to the goal square. Big tackle in the goal square. The ball's rushed over the line for a behind, another behind to Brisbane. 8-5-53 Brisbane, 3-5-23 Devils. The kick in, once again, it favours Brisbane. Brisbane go inside 50 again, squaring the ball, and a mark taken inside 50 by Brisbane, about 30 metres out from goal, directly in front. Well, the Devils are not doing very much right at all today. Mistake after mistake, poor decision after poor decision. So Brisbane shooting a goal, and I think he's kicked it. He has. Well, I thought the Devils were getting themselves back into the game there for a little while, but those 2 goals from Brisbane have got the margin back out to 6 goals again. 9-5-59 Brisbane, 3-5-23 the Devils. Not much has gone right today for the Devils, that's for sure. But still a long way to go. Let's be positive. There's a long way to go. Okay, Cam Owen in the ruck. He wins the tap again. And the Devils go forward. Harry Elmer goes inside 50, looking for the Devils player. Bickoff Smart, great blind turn, but straight to Brisbane, and Brisbane come away with the ball. Brisbane chip inside the square. They've turned it over. Geordie Payne goes inside 50. No, rebounded by Brisbane, and they're away. This is where they're dangerous. They'll be out everywhere here. Running forward, Brisbane. They go wide to centre wing. Brisbane have the ball on centre wing. They chip it again, about a 20-metre chip kick, and another one. Just players everywhere for Brisbane, just players. Interception there by Zach Adams. Goes out to the halfback flank. Bickoff Smart. Great kick by Bickoff Smart into the middle. Now the Devils are on. Hugh Dixon goes inside 50. Figgins handballs over the top to Jai Menzie, who walks into an open goal and kicks a goal for the Devils. That's better play for the Devils, and it was set up by a fantastic kick from the halfback. I'm pretty sure it was Bickoff Smart. He picked out a Devils player in the centre of the ground, and from there they were away. That brings the margin back to 30 points. Bailey Bowe going into the centre square for this ball up. Arion was in there. Brandon Leary's in there. Cam Owen in the ruck. Big knock again from Cam Owen. He's won the last 3 ruck taps in the centre. Holding the ball, free kick to Devils. Brandon Leary. He goes inside 50. Over the back of the pack. Hagan can't get his hands on the ball. Brisbane come away with it. But a turnover. Devils have the mark. 60 metres out from goal. This will go to the top of the goal square, hopefully. Goes to the top of the goal square, over the back of the pack, nearly a mark, play on. And I think we're going to see a ball up. 25 metres out from the Devils' goal. Hugh Dixon gets the tap, but nobody there for the Devils. And it's rushed through for a behind to the Devils. (9:5:59) Brisbane, 4:6:30 the Devils. The ball's at centre halfback for Brisbane. It looks like a turnover here by the Devils. The Devils go in. Oh, scrubby kick by the Devils inside 50. Harry Bales, another scramble kick. Paprotny, what can he do? Long handball, a nice Bikoff Smart. He gave the ball away. Bikoff Smart handballed straight to a Brisbane player, but it's over the line, out of bounds for a lasso free kicks the Devils. Leary tries to go inside 50. Interception mark by Brisbane. The Brisbane have the ball on the boundary line on the halfback flank. Brisbane switch the ball back to their goal square. Another switch across the other side. They're finding free players. Brisbane, dangerous kick by Brisbane, but he finds a player free at centre half back. They're chipping the ball around Brisbane. That's how they use the ball. They've chipped the ball all the way up to centre wing, have Brisbane. But now they play on and they go long down the line to the 50-metre arc, and a great mark there by Brisbane, uncontested mark by Brisbane on 50 metres. They go inside 50, a drop mark by Geordie Payne, but he plays on and he finds, I think, Will Splan on the wing. Will Splan goes looking for Jed Hagan. He doesn't have the ball umpire. That's holding the man, surely. No, play on, says the umpire. It's going to be a ball up on the boundary line on centre wing. No, it's a throw-in. It's not a ball up, it's a throw-in. The ball must have crossed the boundary line. Still raining in Brisbane. Cam Owen gets the ruck tap down. Harry Elmer, great pace to get away from that contest. Goes forward, looking for Hugh Dixon. He can't mark it. John Minzy handballs off to Ivorak in the goal square. Another goal to the Devils. That's what we want to see. So Maddock Ivorak gets his first goal for today and gets the Devils back to 23 points again. So we've kicked the last 2 goals, approaching the 28-minute mark of the second quarter. If we can get one more goal before half-time and get within 3 goals at half-time, that'd be a half decent result from where we were. The ball's back in the centre square. Cam Owen, he wins a tap again. Bailey Bogue's in there. Brandon Leary, he gets the ball going inside, long kick inside 50. Devils have the ball, snap at goal. Looks like it's missed offline. Another point there to the Devils. $22 points the difference. Brisbane have the ball in the back line. They come out to centre wing and the ball is fumbled off hands over the line, out of bounds for a throw-in on centre wing. 29 minutes gone in the second quarter. Has been a fairly low-scoring quarter, this one, I think. So can't be too far away, the siren. Bit of a scramble on centre wing. Is that a lasso free kick? No, it's touched over the boundary line, out of bounds for a throw-in. Throw-in on centre wing. Bailey Bogue wins the clearance to Beck off Smart, spins it around. Bogue's got it again. Pushed off his kick, straight to Brisbane. And Brisbane go forward inside 50. This looks dangerous. That's got to be a free kick to Brisbane. That's a free kick to Brisbane for front-on contact. Well, the Devils tried to break too many tackles there on centre wing, and Brisbane applied the pressure. The Devils turn the ball over, goes inside 50 to a one-on-one, and a free kick to Brisbane. 30 metres out from goal on a slight angle. Shoot a goal, and Brisbane have kicked their 10th goal. The Devils did not want that. They did not want that just before half-time. 10-5, 65, 5-7, 37. Let's have a quick look at a soccer score. It's still 0-0 after 13 minutes in the US. Ball's back in the centre circle. Camoan in the ruck. He wins a big tap again. Can the Devils win this clearance? No. Ball's out on centre wing. Kicked off the ground by Brisbane. Overrun there by Nick Williams. Off the ground again by Brisbane inside 50. Zach Adams, I think it was, drives the ball forward. Hugh Dixon, what's going on? It's half-time. That's a half-time siren. Wow. Well, the Devils got themselves back into the game, I think, in that quarter. 10-5, 65, Brisbane to 5-7, 37, Tasmania. 28 points the difference. That last goal just before half-time by Brisbane was pretty crucial, actually. That gives them a 28-point margin at half-time instead of what could have been a 22-point margin. Let's have a look at some of the stats. Half-time stats. So for the Devils, leading disposal getter is Harry Elmer on 14. Lockie Hay has 13. Bailey Bogue has 12. Nelson Beekoff Smart has 11. And Zach Adams also has 11. Goal kickers for the Devils. Jai Minzy has 2 and a goal apiece to Will Splan. Maddox Ivarak and Harry Elmer. Curtis McCarthy for Brisbane's kicked 3 goals. And the ratings for the Devils, well, the AFL is giving Jai Menzies the top rating at the moment, ahead of Harry Elmer and Zach Adams. Are we going in the hitouts? Yep. Well, Cam Owen's having a good day in the ruck, but he's leading the hitouts. But unfortunately, the Devils are not roving to his hitouts, and they're not winning the clearances. So at halftime, it's 10-5-65 to 5-7-37. 28 points the difference. What's going on in the soccer? Still 0-0 after 17 minutes. Okay, I'm going to take a short break and I'll be back in about 10 minutes. Hi everyone, we're back after a bit of a halftime break. So I can see there some of the stats that Devils are playing a handball game. Brisbane are playing a kicking game, and in these sort of conditions, I think a kicking game is probably better than a handball game. Devils are making too many mistakes. Let's have a look at a soccer score. So it's still 0-0 in the soccer. From what I know, Australia only need a draw to progress into the next stage of the World Cup. I'm pretty sure that's correct. So a win or a draw gets Australia through. A loss probably puts Paraguay through, I think. So let's hope we can get the job done. So about 31 minutes gone. So approaching half time in the soccer. So at half time here, Brisbane at 10-5-65 to Tasmania 5-7-37. 28-point lead to Brisbane. It was 22 points just before the halftime siren. Wow. And Brisbane kicked a goal just before the halftime siren, and the Devils were going forward just before halftime, but the siren actually beat them. So 28 points, it's doable. It's certainly doable. But Devils would have to play an awful lot better than how they played in the first half. They've made an awful lot of mistakes. Overused the ball by hand and turned it over to Brisbane. And as soon as they've turned it over to Brisbane, Brisbane just spread and run, and they find loose targets all over the ground. And Brisbane's forward line also seems to be quite open. So I don't know whether the Devils should be playing a loose man in defence to try and stop that openness in the Brisbane forward line. But let's see what happens in this second half. And let's hope that the Devils can get their act together and reduce that 28 points. So I would say that by three-quarter time, if the Devils are within 1 or 2 goals, then that's a good job in the third quarter. Obviously, if we're in front at three-quarter time, it's even better. But if we reduce the margin back to 1 or 2 goals by three-quarter time, then that's a good step in the right direction. And if we can do that, then we've got every chance of actually winning this in the last quarter. It looks like the rain has stopped in Brisbane. So if the Devils want to continue the handball game, that might help. We'll just do a final check on the soccer score before we get underway here. So approaching half time, 34 minutes. It's still 0-0 in the soccer. Australia's still progressing on that basis. Okay, we're underway here in the third quarter with the Devils and Brisbane. A free kick to the Devils. Is that Harry Ulmer, I think? He's going to go long inside 50. He does, but there's 2 Brisbane guys there and they mark it. That's been the story of our game. Kicking to outnumbered contests. So Brisbane, bring the wall. Ball back to centre wing. The Devils are there. They turn it over. Caleb Mitchell goes to, I think, Jed Hagen on the 50-metre arc. He looks forward. He chips it forward further. Oh, and Hugh Dixon drops an absolute sitter. Well, that's the first time this season I've seen Hugh Dixon's hands like that. He's normally short of hands. There was an opportunity there for the Devils, gone begging. A throw in on the Devils forward line. Cam Owen gets it down. Is that a high tackle to the Devils? No, it's going to be a ball up. 30, 40 metres around from the Devils' goal. Jack Callanan spins around, has a ping at the goals. It doesn't make the distance, and it's spoiled over the line and out of bounds for a boundary throw-in. About 10 metres around from the Devils' behind post. This is a good spot for a throw-in for the Devils. If we can win this clearance, throw in, scramble. Good tackle, great tackle there by the Devils, but it's knocked over the line for a point. So the Devils open the scoring in the second quarter. 10-5-65 to 5-8-38, and Devils have the ball on 50. Caleb Mitchell goes long. Has he got the distance? No. Headed towards the boundary line, and Brisbane are going to clear it. Brisbane go long towards centre wing. That's a good spoil there by Nick Williams over the boundary line, out of bounds for a throw-in on centre wing. Let's have a quick look at the soccer. Still 0-0 after nearly 37 minutes. We've got a boundary throw-in here on centre wing. Cam Owen in the ruck. He's done well in the ruck, Owen. But Brisbane are going to win that clearance. They come away. They go good pressure there by the Devils, but Brisbane go to the top of the goal square, over the back. Geordie Payne's there and he rushes it through for behind. Geordie Payne brings the ball back to the halfback flank for the Devils, and the Devils win the ball. Brandon Leary goes to goes to the wing. I think it's Beekoff Smart. Plays on, dodges a couple, goes inside 50, but straight to Brisbane. Intercept mark. Brisbane go back to the wing and they find a loose player on the wing. This is what's been happening all day. Brisbane turn the ball over and they find loose players. That's a bad kick from Brisbane. Ball's on the half-forward flank for Brisbane. They go deep inside 50, top of the goal square. This looks bad. It's a mark. He plays on and kicks the goal for Brisbane. That's not what the Devils wanted at the start of the third quarter. We didn't want a goal there. Let's put the margin out to 32 points. Devils needed the first goal. Let's have a look at the soccer. Still 0-0 after 38, nearly 39 minutes. Devils play well in patches, but they've been beaten here in this game around the contest, around the clearances. And the handball game has been put under pressure and they've made a lot of handball mistakes, have the Devils. So Cam Owen in the ruck in the centre here. Another tap to Cam Owen. He's doing very well. Off the ground by the Devils. Straight to Brisbane. Put a tackle on, boys. That's a tackle. Lockie Hay picks the ball up, gives it off to Bailey Bow, goes inside 50 or just the edge of 50. He finds Maddock Ivorak on the 50-metre arc. He plays on, is called to play on by the umpire. He goes deep inside 50. Hagen's tackled. Going to be a ball up. 30 metres out from the Devils' goal. We need a goal here. Sam Siggin's going to do the ruck work. Brisbane win the tap. Beakoff smart. Caleb Mitchell has a snap. What's he done? What's he done? Yes, great goal, Caleb Mitchell. That's what the Devils needed. He's very good on his left. I'm snapping the ball, Caleb Mitchell. He kicked a great goal last week on his left against Sandringham, and he's done the same there. (11-6). Sorry, I've got a wrong score here. We've got another behind there to Brisbane. So it's 11-6-72. Brisbane, 6-8-44 to the Devils. Brisbane win the clearance. Can the Devils put pressure on? They do, but Brisbane still come away with the ball. They go to centre wing. Ball's in dispute on centre wing. That looks like Geordie Payne going forward. Good kick. Good kick. It's Callanan. He swings the ball wide, looking for Hugh Dixon. Hugh Dixon taps it over the back. Jed Hagan on his left almost misses his boot with the ball. And another behind to the Devils. Jed Hagan tried to snap there and almost missed the ball with his boot. 27 points the difference. Come on, Devils, you need to lock this ball inside 50 if you can. Brisbane switch to play. They go back to the halfback flank. Oh, that's a great kick by Brisbane. They use the ball so well by foot to Brisbane. And again, they're out to centre wing with another chip. Ball's on centre wing. Brisbane chip it again. And they find another player. This is what they do, Brisbane. Look, and again. Is that a mark? Play on, says the umpire. Geez, that was a mark, I thought, to Brisbane. Devils going forward, handballing, another handball. Jai Menzies inside 50. Chips across the face of goal. Callanan. That's a great mark to Brisbane. That's a great saving mark to Brisbane. And they chip the ball again outside. You watch, here they go again. Chip. This is how they play, Brisbane. It's hard to stop. Very hard to stop. Brisbane bring the ball back into the centre of the ground. Dangerous kick. Interception by the Devils. Now we can go forward. Hagan chips it across. He misses Beakoff smart with his chip kick. Hold the ball in here, Devils. Hold the ball in here. Get a stoppage. Caleb Mitchell on his left. Goes forward. Interception by Brisbane. Let's have a quick look at the soccer scores at halftime yet. Not quite. Still 0-0, which is good for the Aussies. The Aussies are progressing at the moment. If it stays at 0-0, a draw is good enough to get us through. Back to the VFL. Ball's in dispute in the middle of the ground. Bailey Bogue picks it up. Beautiful kick to Elmer on the half-forward flank. Elmer goes inside 50, wide inside 50, and the ball is spoiled over the line and out of bounds for a throw-in. Throw-in about 40 metres around from the Devils' goal. 27 points the difference. Ball in dispute, heading back towards the boundary line. Menzies weaves his way through and he kicks a great goal. How did he get through there, Jai Menzies? Well, that's the sort of player he is. I mean, you give him an inch and, as they say, he takes a mile. That was a great goal there by Jai Menzies. I don't know if we're going to see a replay of that one, but somehow he weaved his way along the boundary line and crossed the face of goal and slotted it with a banana kick on his right foot. So we're back to 19 points. Sorry, 21 points. And this is actually the closest the Devils have been since in the first quarter. Let's have a quick look at soccer score. Still 0-0 in the soccer. Back to the VFL. Ball's in dispute in the centre of the ground. The Devils try to handball the way out of trouble. Just don't let it out, guys. It's the way. Get another ball up and start again. Siggins is doing the ruck work. He gets the tap down. Devils go forward with a scramble kick. Jai Menzies handballs forward, puts Leary under pressure there, and they turn it over. But a good smother in defence puts, and the Devils go forward. They got the ball on the half-forward flank. Got a mark on the half-forward flank. They're going to go deep inside 50 here. Top of the goal square. Over the back, Menzies again. Menzies again. Another goal. Come on, Devils. Jai Menzies. He's kicked 4 goals. Margin is back to 15 points. I did say 10 minutes ago at the start of this quarter, if the Devils can get the margin back to 1 or 2 goals by three-quarter time, then we're in a good position. If we can get even closer or get in front, well, that's even better, of course. 15 points the difference. Sam Siggins doing the ruck work. The ball is hacked forward by Brisbane. Brisbane lucky. They're going forward, Brisbane. They have a shot at goal. That might be a push in the back, is it? He's kicked it out of bounds on the full. Geez, I thought the Devils were lucky there. That was a push in the back against the Devils, but the ball's gone out of bounds and the Devils get a free kick right next to the behind post. Just ticked over 14 minutes in the third quarter. The Devils bring the ball back to the half-back flank. The Devils win possession. They drive the ball forward to the half-forward flank. Brandon Leary, good handball off to Hugh Dixon. Hugh Dixon puts a ball to the advantage. That's got to be a free kick. I thought that was front-on contact against Will Spillane, you know. Unlucky. Brisbane come away with the ball and they have a mark on the half-back flank. They go down the line. Brisbane mark on the wing. They play on. They go inside 50. Over the back of the pack. Nick Williams, what's he done? He's handed the ball straight to Brisbane. In fact, he's thrown it. Umpires paid a free kick to Brisbane. The free kick from right on the boundary line, probably 25 metres around from goal. Looks like he's going to snap this one around the corner. Devils can't afford a goal here. He's snapped and he's missed to the near side. That's a let-off. That's a let-off for the Devils. 16 points the difference. The Devils bring the ball back to half-back. Ball's in dispute. Goes back inside 50 for Brisbane. Stacks on the mill. Oh, he's paid holding the ball. Can you believe that? Against the Devils. 40 metres out from goal. Probably on a 45-degree angle. I will say one thing. I haven't checked the free kick stats, but I don't think the Devils have had an awful lot of free kicks. If I had to guess, I'd say the Brisbane are leading the free kicks. So Brisbane having a shot at goal here. Brisbane shoot for goal. And he's kicked it. That's not what the Devils needed. They were getting back into the game. And Brisbane hit back 12-7, 79, 8-9, 57. Let's have a quick look at the soccer. What's going on there? Still 0-0. Just about half time. Just about half time. It's good for the Socceroos. On that basis, the Socceroos are progressing through to the next stage. A draw is good enough. Back in the centre here with Cam Owen in the ruck. He doesn't fly, but he wins the rebound. Beak off smart. Has his kick smothered. Lux of Fortune goes to Leary. Leary goes inside 50. Off hands. Brisbane mop it up and they get a relieving mark in the back pocket. The Devils have not taken too many marks inside 50 in this game. John Menzies taken a couple, but not many others. Okay, Devils are going forward. Kick is smothered. Been a lot of smothered kicks in this game, many more than I've seen for the whole year. These umpires are so hot on holding the ball. That's another free kick for holding the ball against the Devils. I've never seen so many holding the ball free kicks for a guy who has no opportunity and he's pinged holding the ball. Ball's on a 50-metre arc for Brisbane. They have a shot at goal and they miss. That was lucky. 23 points of difference in favour of Brisbane. Devils bring the ball out to the halfback flank. They go long towards centre wing, almost a mark. The Devils not quite. Callon is wrapped up. Going to be a boundary throw in on centre wing. The Devils certainly need the next goal. That's an understatement. Must get the next goal. Ball's thrown in. Cam Owen, big knock by Cam Owen. Another throw in. He's done very well in the ruck as Cam Owen. He's been a great addition to the team. If you're in the chat, if you have any comments about any of the players, who's your favourite player for the Devils? Ball's on centre wing in dispute. John Menzies comes away, handballs to Mitchell on his wrong side. He kicks the ball, all Brisbane here. All Brisbane, and they get the ball forward. Good tackle there. That's holding the ball umpire. You've paid that all day against the Devils? Yes. And now he's paid that against Brisbane. Okay. Consistent. Oh, bad kick across the half-back line by the Devils. And Brisbane, they're going to score a goal here. Well, they've only got themselves to blame. Skill error by the Devils. And it gives Brisbane an easy goal. They just missed a target there across half-back and turned the ball over. If you do that, you've got no chance. Let's check a soccer score. Half-time, 0-0. That's very good for Australia. The Aussies are progressing on that basis. back in the VFL, and now here we are. It's back 29 points of difference. That was a bad turnover by the Devils. Just got to hit a target in that situation, surely. Brisbane, they've won the centre clearance. They chip the ball wide and they find their man on centre wing. They're going to play on here. They just keep running, Brisbane. They run. Overlap handball. Deep inside 50. Off hands. Oh, he's paid a free kick against the Devils for a front-on contact on the goal line. Well, Devils, they got themselves back into the game. And what's cost them in the last 5 minutes is just some bad mistakes. And Brisbane had a shot at goal on his left and he's kicked it. But all that great work that was done by the Devils has now been undone, and the margin is back out to 35 points. Well, that's a bit depressing. If you're a Devil supporter, it's great if you're a Lion supporter, but yeah, that's frustrating. 14-8, 92, 8-9, 57. Cam Owen in the ruck. He wins that tap again, but Brisbane win the clearance. It just making mistakes, the Devil. They missed a handball there. Just keep making mistakes, skill errors. The ball up here on the half-forward flank for Brisbane. Who's the Devils handballing that to? Oh, that's a free kick. Surely that's a free kick to the Devils. I think it's Wilkinson. That's a free kick for a holding free kick against Wilkinson in the back pocket. He goes long down the line to centre wing, over the back of the pack, or Brisbane. Going to be a ball up on the half-back flank for the Devils. Brisbane, they win the tap out, great tap out, and they go forward with the handball chain, but the ball's smothered. Comes to Beekoff Smart. And the Devils have kicked it out of bounds on the full. Going to be a free kick here to Brisbane. You would think they are going to go deep inside 50 here, maybe to the top of the goal square. He plays on and he goes long to the top of the goal square. Spoiled by the Devils. Geordie Payne takes it over the boundary line, out of bounds for a throw-in. Devils are under the pump here again. Boundary throw-in. 25 metres out from the Brisbane goal. Ball scrambled forward. Wilkinson, he gives it off to Lockie Hay, I think it was, and he's kicked it out of bounds on the full. Another skill error by the Devils. I know I've said it a lot, but just the skill errors by the Devils is really hurting them. So Brisbane have a shot at goal here from 20 metres out. He's going to snap around the corner, and I think he's missed it. Another let-off for the Devils. 14-9, 93, 8-9, 57. 36 points the difference. The Devils come long out of defence, out towards the wing. Scramble on centre wing. And he's paid a free kick for deliberate out of bounds against the Devils. The free kick here to Brisbane. He goes short. He finds the target. The Brisbane are going to go inside 50 here again. They go inside 50. Ball being kicked up in the air by Brisbane. Big scramble. Devils need to hold on here. John Menzies back there. He chips the ball out. And a good mark by Brisbane on the 50-metre line. So the Devils, they can't get the ball out of the back line at the moment. They're being hemmed in. Brisbane play on, go to the top of the goal square. He's gone longer than that to the goal line. He's kicked it. That's gone over the back of the pack. Wow. Well, another goal there to Brisbane, and they skip away again. 42 points. We certainly didn't expect this at the start of the game. It looks like it's raining again in Brisbane, which is not going to help the Devils the way that they try to handball the ball. Cam Owen's back in the ruck again. I see Harry Elmer's in the middle. Callum Mitchell's in the middle. Cam Owen wins a tap again, but straight to Brisbane every time. Brisbane go forward. Devils miss another handball. It's on the half-back flank for the Devils. They handball themselves out of trouble. Harry Bales goes over the top. Devils just keep putting themselves under pressure with their handball. It's pretty obvious to me that in this game today, especially with the rain, you need to get the ball in the boot and get it forward, which is exactly what Bailey Bogue does here. He goes long, comes off hands, over the boundary line and out of bounds for a throw-in. But the Devils are getting themselves in trouble with handball and with poor skill errors by hand and by foot. Brisbane's skill is on a different level to the Devils' skill level. Scramble on the half-forward flank. Ball goes inside 50 for the Devils, hits the ground. The Devils are after this one. Another strange handball by the Devils. Ball goes back into the centre square. Chaplin, he chips it. He gets it back again. Handballs to Rory Wright. He goes deep inside 50. Long. What's happened there? Umpire's paid a free kick. He's paid a free kick to the Devils. So the Devils have a shot at goal. Hugh Dixon on his left, and he's kicked it. The Devils certainly needed that. They needed that, and they need a few more. That's for certain. 15-9-99 to 9-9-63. 36 points the difference at the 30-minute mark of the third quarter. There can't be too much longer left in the third quarter, and the Devils, they certainly need the next goal. If we can get it back to 5 goals at three-quarter time, we've got half a chance. Half a chance. Hugh Dixon in the ruck. He's paid a throw. He's paid a free kick to Brisbane. That's a strange free kick. I didn't see any free kick there. So Brisbane going forward, they go inside 50, almost to mark the Devils, snapped over the shoulder by Brisbane for a behind to Brisbane. 37 points of difference, and Brisbane, they bring up the 100, 15-10, 100. Ball comes out to the halfback flank for the Devils, and it's spoiled over the boundary line and out of bounds for a throw-in. Probably about 70 metres around from the Brisbane goal. Approaching 32 minutes in the third quarter. Hugh Dixon wins the tap down and he's paid holding the ball against Bailey Bogue. Geez, I didn't think he had any prior opportunity. They've been very tough on holding the ball, these umpires. Ball goes to the top of the goal square, spoiled by the Devils. Oh, geez, they're under pressure every time, the Devils. And the Devils are missing tackles. The ball goes across the goal. The mark there by Lockie Hay, I think it is back there. He finds Callanan on the halfback flank. Callanan goes short to Papotny, I think that is, and they're hard to see in the rain. Just go long, mate. Get it out of there. That's the way. He goes long down to centre wing, straight to Brisbane. Brisbane, they chip it around. They come back through the centre, back to centre half forward, inside 50, over the back. Harry Bales nearly had his head pulled off, doesn't get a free kick. And Devils bring it away. A missed target, turnover, straight to Brisbane again. The Brisbane come inside 50 and a big mark. A big strong mark to Brisbane inside 50. There's going to be a shot at goal here by Brisbane, right on three-quarter time. He's going to be kicking from probably 35 metres out. He's on a very tight angle. He's probably on like a 70-degree angle. If he gets this, you'd have to think it's probably almost game over. Kicks a goal. And he's missed. Another let off there for the Devils. And that's three-quarter time. 15-11, 101, Brisbane. 38-point lead over the Devils. 9 goals, 9, 63. Let's have a quick look at the stats, see what happened in that quarter. So, disposal-wise, Harry Elmer is leading disposals for the Devils on 21. Brandon Leary's had 18, and Caleb Mitchell, Jai Menzie, Lockie Hay and Bailey Bogue and Beagle Smart have all had 17. The goal kickers for the Devils, Jai Menzie's kicked 4 and all the rest are singles. And we see Curtis McCarthy for Brisbane has kicked 5. He's had a good day for them. That's for sure. And I think it was said that Cam Owen has been leading the hitouts, and yet he's on 24 hitouts as opposed to Henry Smith. So Cam Owen's doing his job. Fantasy Watch, the AFL stats is saying that Jai Menzie is leading the fantasy ratings for the Devils. Okay, that's probably because of his 4 goals. Right. Let's have a quick look now at the soccer. Let's have a look to see if the soccer's restarted, and it's still 0-0 in favour of Australia, which, as you know, is a great result so far. If we can maintain that, then we are through. We're through to the next round. What's that? 47 minutes. So we've played about 3 minutes in the second half in the soccer, and Socceroos are holding firm, which is fantastic news. Go the Socceroos. Okay, I'm just going to take a quick 5-minute break here, just a pitch stop, and I'll be back very soon for the last quarter. I'll see you soon. We're back again. Let's have a quick look at the soccer, and still 0-0. Socceroos still in the hunt to progress to the next stage. Okay, we've got the VFL starting again. We're away in the last quarter, and Devils are 38 points behind. We need a big last quarter here by the Devils. But Brisbane are going forward straight away. They go deep inside 50 and they've taken a mark. They've taken a mark 25 to 30 metres out from goal on a 45-degree angle. This would be a terrible start for the Devils and a great start for Brisbane if he kicks this. He shoots at goal and he's kicked it. That's the worst possible start for the Devils. 16-11, 107, Brisbane to 9-9, 63, the Devils. That's now out to 44 points. I think that's the biggest margin of the game. So to win from here, the Devils basically have to kick 8 goals in wet and greasy conditions, which, if you're a betting man, that ain't going to happen. Camo in the ruck. Going to be a secondary ball up. Secondary ball up in the middle of the ground. Brisbane go forward and they get a mark at centre half forward. All Brisbane to start this last quarter and they find a target inside 50. How does that happen? How does a guy get on his own inside 50? So Brisbane are going to have a shot here from just outside the 50-metre arc. Directly in front of goal. It's only going. He plays on. He goes out to the right. He plays on. He goes to the top of the goal square. There's a scramble at the top of the goal square. He's paid a high tackle to guess who? Paid a high tackle to Brisbane. So another goal coming up here to Brisbane. Worst possible start for the Devils. Worst possible start you could ever imagine. So this is to make it 50 points, the difference. I mean, the game's already over. But this is going to be 50 points, the difference, and he's hit the post. So it's not 50 points, it's 45 points. But I think the game's probably still over anyway. That's a great mark there by Cam Hohen, but he's had his kick smothered. Geez, they've made some mistakes. They just can't do anything right, the Devils. Brisbane go back to the top of the goal square and another mark. When you turn the ball over like that, as Owen did, all of your defenders are going to be out of position. And when it comes back in, that's what happens. So I said last time, a certain goal coming up. So surely he's not going to miss 2 in a row. This is the same guy that had the previous shot. Surely he's not going to miss this one, is he? Directly in front. He hasn't missed that one. He's put that right through the middle. And that's certainly game over. 17-12, 114. 9-9-63. So let's have a look at the soccer. And it's still 0-0. 56 minutes, 57 minutes. It's good for the Socceroos. I wish scores were tied in this VFL game, but they're not. It's a huge lead here to Brisbane by 51 points. Another fumble by the Devils in the centre square and They managed to get the ball forward. They go have a shot at goal and they've missed. Another behind the Devils, back to 50 points the difference. 114 plays 64. What I'd like to see now in the next 25 minutes from the Devils is I'd just like to see a bit of fight. Just make sure that you don't get blown out of the water by 70 or 80 points. Let's just try and get it back to 4 or 5 goals if we can. I see you in the chat there, Bernhard, and I think what you're saying is that you think the Tassie boys are having a holiday in Queensland. Well, they're certainly not soaking up the sun because it's been an overcast and rainy day, but they certainly have not been on their game in Queensland today. So maybe they are in holiday mode. Or maybe it's just a fact they've had a 4-day turnaround from the game last week against Sandringham, and 4 days is pretty tough. But they have the ball here, the Devils. They're going forward. Hugh Dixon, terrible handball. Another poor skill error by the Devils. They have not looked switched on all day. Not looked switched on all day. So, as Bernhard says, maybe they are in holiday mode. I hope not. But Brisbane have looked very, very sharp, and the Devils have looked anything but sharp. They switch to play here into the corridor, handball off. Harry Bales goes forward. They go to the top of the goal square and a great ball there from Brisbane. Knock it through for a behind. Another behind to the Devils. So 114 plays, 65. And Brisbane have the ball at centre half back. They go straight down the middle of the ground to centre half forward. There's a lot of Brisbane players there, but luckily the Devils win that ball. He's paid a shepherd. He's paid a shepherd against Brisbane, a free kick to Hugh Dixon. He goes into the centre of the ground with a chip kick. He finds Rory Wright. He goes straight across the 50, even further away from goal. Now the Devils go inside 50, and it's a mark inside 50. I think it's Jai Menzies. Very hard to see in the doom and gloom. I think Jai Menzies got the mark, probably 35 metres out from goal on a tough angle, a very tough angle. He's kicked 4 goals today, Jai Menzies. Can he put through his 5th goal? After this shot, we'll check the soccer score after this shot. So the Devils are 49 points behind. Jai Menzies on a tight angle, across the face of goal, 1 behind. (114 plays, 66). Let's have a look at the soccer. And after 61, 62 minutes, it's still 0-0. Socceroos are doing much better than what the Devils are doing, that's for sure. Okay, back to the VFL. Brisbane has the ball on centre wing. chipping it around. Look at all the free Brisbane players. They have the ball on the half-forward flank. They're going to go deep inside 50. They go deep inside 50 and a big mark, strong mark over the back. Number 37. I don't know who that is, but he's taken some very strong marks today. That was a fantastic mark. And he's going to line up to put Brisbane 54 points in front. He's on a 45-degree angle. He's going to kick from probably 30 metres out. And he's kicked it. So 18 goals, 12, 120 Brisbane, 9 goals, 12, 66 the Devils. Not good. Let's have another look at the soccer. Socceroos, still a stalemate there, 0-0. So that's some good news. That's some good news today. Not much else has gone right. Back here to the football. Sam Siggins in the ruck. The Devils go forward to the wing. A nice mark there. On the wing, is that Baxter Norton, I think? Hard to see. Quite overcast in Brisbane. Ball goes forward. Hugh Dixon hands off to Harry Elmer, slips over. Brandon Leary gives it off to Baxter Norton, goes inside, a drop mark. Devils are handball. Lockie Hay has the ball, can't get it, can't escape, a ball up. A snapper goal is a goal. So a snapper goal by Baxter Norton. And he's brought up a goal for the Devils. Bernhard, you're probably right. It's best to have a loss sort of halfway through the season rather than in the last couple of weeks before finals. But it's never a good time to have a loss. But actually, Devils have a bit of a tough run home. I did a video a few weeks ago on how many wins the Devils need to actually make the finals. And I did some research on the last 3 seasons of VFL, and that research actually showed that you need 10 wins to finish inside the top 10. Bearing in mind that the Devils have already had a draw, so if they had 10 wins, that would actually give them 42 points, which I think would actually guarantee them a top 10 finish. At the moment, they have 7 wins, so they need, by my calculation, another 3. And I honestly thought that against the Brisbane Lions, this was going to be number 8, but that's not going to happen. So we need probably 3 more wins from our remaining games. And next week is tough. Box Hill Hawks, who I think are second on the ladder. Box Hill Hawks in Penguin in Tasmania. So we've got a free kick here, the Devils. At centre half forward, Harry Elmer, he goes across the 50. And the Devils chip it again. It's going to be a high free kick to Brisbane. Paid advantage. And Brisbane are going to come away. They go long to centre wing. Oh, great mark. there. I think that's Will Splan. I do like Will Splan. He shows an awful lot of promise. He goes back to the top of 50. Devils crumb the ball. Is that in the back for the Devils? Is that a free kick in the back? No. Umpire's called for a ball up, I think. He has the ball up about 50 metres around from the Devils' goal. Hugh Dixon taps it down and he's paid a free kick to Brisbane for, I don't know what he paid that for. They pay some strange free kicks in the VFL, much stranger than what you see in the AFL. I'm being honest. Ball's on centre wing. He's paid a push to the Devils. Will Splan again. I would certainly persevere with Will Splan in this team. He goes long to the top of the goal square. It's crumbed off the pack and it's a snap at goal. I think it was Callanan. Was it Callanan? No, it was Jai Menzies with a headband on. So another goal, Jai Menzies. I think that's his fifth. Yep, Jai Menzies kicked 5 goals. And that gets the margin back to 42 points. Let's have a quick look at the soccer score. Still 0-0, approaching 70 minutes. Go Socceroos. Go Socceroos. Back in the centre of the ground here for a ball up. Cam Owens in the ruck. He wins the tap down to Caleb Mitchell, but he loses control of the ball. Some big tackling inside the centre square. Another ball up. Brisbane, that's too easy out of that stoppage. On the half-forward flank here for Brisbane. But Tasmania come over the ball. Harry Elmer chips the ball and misses his target. That's happened too often today, missing targets. Brisbane, they don't miss targets. And they get a great mark to Brisbane inside 50. Well, watching this game, I must say, I cannot see how Brisbane have lost 7 games in a row, and I can't see how they've only won 1 game for the whole year. I mean, they have played against all the sort of teams that Tasmania's played against. Non-AFL aligned teams like Williamstown, Werribee, and you kicked that out of bounds on the full. So either Brisbane have just played out of their skin, or the Devils, which is probably more like it. The Devils have had a shocker today. They haven't done too much right today. And that's another example of that. A bad turnover kick out to the halfback flank. And Brisbane come back inside 50 and they find free targets everywhere. There's just too many skill errors by the Devils. I know AFL teams have a much higher skill level. So if you make mistakes against them, they are probably going to punish you a lot more than if you make mistakes against a non-AFL aligned VFL team. That's just something to think about. Shot a goal by Brisbane from the boundary line and he's kicked it. Well, that's just another knife into the heart of the Devils. 19-12, 126, Brisbane, 11 goals, 12, 78. 48 points of difference to Brisbane. Let's have a quick score check on the soccer. 72, 73 minutes. Still 0-0. Socceroos hanging in there. They only need a draw. A draw is good enough to get them through to the next round. Ball up in the centre here, back in Brisbane. Big tap by Cam Owen, but once again, Brisbane are winning the clearances. Go inside 50 and they've got no, it's play on. They claimed the mark, but there's no mark there. It's going to be a ball up inside Brisbane's 50. But just keep winning the stoppages and clearances, Brisbane. But that's a nice mark to Archie Wilkinson. And he goes wide out to the wing and he finds Nelson Beekoff smart. He handballs to Will Splan, goes to Geordie Payne. He goes long to the half-forward line, but I think it's out of bounds on the full. Really, disposal today by the Devils has been quite poor. Brisbane have the ball across the half-back line. They're going forward with handball chains. They turn it over. Caleb Mitchell has the ball, but I think it's coming back to a free kick to Brisbane. They play on, go deep inside 50. Off hands, a high tackle to Tasmania. Nick Williams has a free kick. He plays on, kicks the ball up in the air. What sort of kick is that? Who are you kicking that to? Geordie Payne spins out of trouble nicely, goes to centre wing, and Zach Adams takes a mark, handballs off. Beekoff smart, goes down to centre half forward. Callanan almost takes a one-handed specky. Spills, Brisbane clean it up. They switch play. They have a mark on the half-back flank. They switch play again. They go back to where the ball came from. They chip it around. Brisbane don't miss targets. They do not miss targets. Their disposal is excellent. 48 points the difference. Probably about 10 minutes to go. A ball up on centre wing to Brisbane come away from the stoppage with a ball. Another beautiful kick. Gosh, they used the ball so well, Brisbane. If I remember back to our game against Carlton, Carlton also used the ball beautifully. Ball goes deep inside 50 for Brisbane. A good tackle there by the Devils to hold the ball up. But, yeah, you can certainly see the difference in skill level between Brisbane, say in Carlton, and the Devils. Free kick. I think he's paid a free kick here to Brisbane for a high tackle. That's a soft free kick. He's going to be shooting a goal he plays on his left foot around the corner and he's missed. Ball's back in the centre of the ground in dispute. Beekoff smart wins the ball. Ball still in dispute in the centre circle. Brisbane go forward again. Brisbane, oh, what a blind turn by Brisbane. Runs into an open goal, across the face, goal out of bounds for a boundary throw-in. Let's check a soccer score. 77, 78 minutes, still 0-0 to the Socceroos. Ball's thrown in at the behind post in Brisbane's forward 50. He's paid a free kick for a block. Cam Owen gets a free kick. He plays on. Geordie Payne. Terrible handball by Geordie Payne. Why would you put the guy under pressure like that? Geez, they've made some mistakes, the Devils, today. They just do not look like it. What is it? A deliberate free kick or out of bounds on the full against the Devils. So Brisbane are going to have a shot at goal here from right against the boundary line, about 40 metres out from goal. I didn't see if that was out of bounds on the full or a deliberate he paid, but it's on the back of another poor Devils mistake. Too many mistakes today. The Brisbane have a shot at goal, and I think he's kicked it. Oh, that's a great goal to Brisbane. They're driving it home now against the Devils. 20 goals, 13, 133 to the Devils. 11 goals, 12. $55 points the difference. Let's have a quick check of a soccer score. 80 minutes in the soccer and it's still 0-0. Still 0-0 to the Socceroos, which is good for them. Back at the VFL. Bailey Bogue has the ball. Handball puts the Devils under pressure and a free kick for holding the ball. Too many handballs from the Devils. We put guys under pressure with bad handballs. Brisbane go forward, use the ball very, very well again and find a loose man inside 50. The Brisbane are going to have a shot at goal here. No, he's gone to the top of the goal square. Top of the goal square. A good tackle there from Bailey Bogue. I think it's raining again in Brisbane. 28, 29 minutes gone in the last quarter. Brisbane hack off the ground, snap at goal. Offline are behind to Brisbane. $134, 139 plays 78. Pouring with rain again in Brisbane. Pouring with rain. It's a 61-point gap. $10 goals. 10-goal win coming up here for Brisbane. This is going to be the Devils' worst defeat of the year. Just kick the ball. Why do they try to handball under pressure so much? Just in wet conditions, get the ball to boot. Out of bounds on the full, a free kick to the Devils. A free kick in the back pocket here to the Devils. They go long down the line. Ball's going to go over the line out of bounds. It's certainly not an understatement to say that the Devils have played extremely poorly today, put themselves under so much pressure with handball in wet conditions. Just get the ball out of there, get it going your way or on your boot. That's it. That's all over. A big win to the Brisbane Lions. 21 goals, 13, 139. Giving the Devils a football lesson. 11 goals, 12, 78. A great performance by Brisbane, but on the other hand, a very poor performance by the Devils, you would have to say. I mean, I'm just looking at some of the stats. The Devils had double the handball of Brisbane, and they've lost by 10 goals. I think that tells you something about how the Devils tried to play. They certainly didn't play the percentages. They played a game that was certainly not in accordance with the conditions, and they were just off today. There was just something about the way they played today. They were just off. I don't know if it was a 4-day break. That obviously has a big impact, a 4-day break. So a trip to Melbourne and then back to Tasmania, and then 4 days later you're in Brisbane. It doesn't help, that's for sure. They looked slow, lethargic, stale, and they made so many skill errors today. It was unbelievable. And when Brisbane got the ball, Brisbane were just so precise with their skill and ball movement, and they just opened the Devils up and just absolutely slaughtered them, to be honest. That's our worst performance for the year, I'd say. To go on record, that's our worst performance for the year. Right, let's have a look at how the soccer's going. And at the 85-minute mark of the second half of the game, it's still 0-0 in favour of the Socceroos. As I said, if the Socceroos can hold on here, they will. If the Socceroos can hold on here, they'll go through to the next round. So they've got 10 minutes and injury time to hold on. In the meantime, let's just have a quick look at the stats in this game. Tasmania versus Brisbane. I just want to see how things look. The leading possession getter for the Devils, Lockie Hay on 25, Harry Elmer on 25, and Brandon Leary on 22. And the goals for the Devils, well, we know that Jai Menzies kicked 5 goals, and the rest were all singles. So let's have a look at the hitouts. I think the hitouts might have evened up a little bit in the last quarter. No, Cam Owen certainly held his own in the hitouts. He had 31 hitouts to Henry Smith, who had 28. So Cam Owen can hold his head high. There's not many others that can do that. In the AFL Fantasy, they have Jai Menzies as ranking number 1. That's because of his 5 goals. I mean, he did have 19 disposals. So 5 goals and 19 disposals. He's certainly going to be at the top of the votes. Because the other guys, even though they had lots of disposals, most of those disposals, in my opinion, were ineffective disposals. They got the ball, but they turned it over. They missed targets with handball and with kicking. That's the worst disposal performance I've seen of the Devils so far this year. So hopefully next week against the Box Hill Hawks, we lift our game. Let's go back to the soccer. So in the soccer, we're now approaching 90 minutes and it's still 0-0, which is very good for our Socceroos. I just wonder with the Devils, if that performance today is, if the coaching staff are just going to write that off as a 1 in a million bad performance. It's their first really bad performance for the year. So maybe that just gets written off as, okay, a bad one is out of the way. Let's move on now and think positively. I'm not sure if they'll think that way. They probably will, because even though we lost, depending on other results, we're probably still going to be in the top 6 or 7 on the ladder. I think maybe 7th after what I saw the other day. So let's have a quick look at the ladder and see what that might mean. So the Devils are on 30 points. So yeah, I mean, certainly if those other teams below them win, then the Devils could drop as low as 7th or 8th. So that's not good, but let's see. Let's see what happens over the next few weeks. Back to our soccer. Still 0-0. We're in the 90th minute. I wonder how much injury time is going to be allowed here. So we've just ticked over into 90 minutes of the soccer, and we've been streaming for nearly 3 hours. I haven't seen how much time, added time, has been allowed. 5 minutes of added time. So Socceroos have a big chance here to get a draw and move on to 4 points in their group and end up in second place behind the USA. We'll just see this one out. But it will be good to see next week the Devils have a game, their first game on the northwest coast of Tasmania. They take on Box Hill Hawks at Dole Park in Penguin. As I said, the first game on the northwest coast, and I'm sure that Tassie Devils northwest coast supporters are going to be extremely happy with that. Their first chance to see in person the Tasmanian Devils. Unfortunately, they had a bad day today, but it's been a very good season so far. It's only our first inaugural season, and we've won 7 games, had a draw, and lost 4. Today was our 4th loss, and as I said, that was our worst loss for the season, unfortunately. But there comes a point in every season where you are going to have your worst game. And that was definitely the worst game for the Devils today. And it was away from home on their furthest road trip for the year in Brisbane. So next week, as I said, it's back home at Dial Park. And then after that, I think they have another home game after that. I can't quite remember what the fixture is. I think they have another game after that at home. But Box Hill Hawks, they are second on the ladder, so they are certainly not going to be easy. And you would imagine the Box Hill Hawks, another AFL aligned team, you would think they are going to play a similar style, a similar brand to the Hawthorn brand, which if you've been watching the AFL this year and if you're a Hawthorn fan, you will know the Hawthorn AFL brand is a fantastic brand of football. So that's not going to be easy for the Devils. And if they want to have any chance against the Hawks next week, they are certainly going to have to lift their game. They must lift their game. If they play today like they played, if they play next week like they played today against Brisbane, then it could be worse, because I still can't believe that Brisbane were last on the VFL ladder, 22nd on the ladder with only one win for the whole year. And if you have a look at how Brisbane played today, that did not look like a team to me that only had one win for the whole year. They moved the ball so well, Brisbane, and their skill was unbelievable. But maybe we just maybe the Devils caught Brisbane on a very good day, and Brisbane caught the Devils on a bad day. So we're approaching 5 minutes extra time here in the soccer. It's still 0-0. So we've got another few seconds to go, hopefully. And if Australia hang on, then we progress through to the next round. We're in the dying seconds of the Socceroos versus Paraguay. Can we at least get some good news out of today? It's not been a good day if you're a Tasmanian supporter, but if you're a Tasmanian supporter, you're also an Australian Socceroos supporter, right? So we're very, very close here. I think there might be a slight delay between what I'm saying and what's happening in the game. And they've done it. The Socceroos are through. They've got a draw in the game with Paraguay. So that means the Socceroos progress into the next round. It used to be called the round of 16. But in this World Cup, we have 48 teams rather than 32 teams. So I'm not quite sure what it's called this time. If it's called a round of, I don't know, a round of. So I'm assuming if there's 48 teams, that means there's 12 groups. So is it a round of 36? I guess. I don't know. But the Socceroos are through. So that's fantastic for them. I'm going to finish the stream there. So thanks for those people who did join. If you can, please spare me a subscribe. I'm trying to grow the channel. At the moment, we have a subscriber count in the mid-80s. I'd really like to see us hit a milestone of 100 in the next few weeks. Devils' next game is against the Box Hill Hawks at Dial Park in Penguin next Saturday. So join us for that, and we'll catch you soon. Go Devils.